So let me ask you, how like right now, if my wife and I, we go to Argentina, we're having a nice little steak at the steakhouse. Everywhere we went in Argentina, I asked everybody the same question, okay? The question is, hey, Maradona or Messi?
Yeah.
Oh, you can't ask that question.
Yeah.
Or some people would take it offense. How could you ask a question like that? Of course it's Maradona. You're talking about Maradona?
Yeah.
Messi? Messi's not like Maradona.
Right.
And they would be like almost a little bit annoyed with how could you ask a stupid question like that, right? But then some people will be like, it's like having two kids. You have to love both of them. I love both of them. It's what?
Right.
Is that kind of your thing when you go to Mexico? Did they say stuff like that to you? Or, what vibe you get now?
People, I get a lot of whispers like from Mexican nationals who tell me, you beat Chavez. Great job. We respect you, but we love Chavez. We're Mexican, and they whisper it in my ear. They don't want to say it out loud, because they're so
and it's simply because he was born in Mexico. You're born in East LA, right? So look,
he's the hero. He's the Messiah. He's God in Mexico, right?
I wonder if
it's kind of like Maradona and
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
So I'm pulling up lists. Okay, I'm just trying to see what lists say the greatest Mexican boxers of all time. Now you got to realize most of these writers are older people, so the writers are not going to be writers. Number 12, this one list has Rodolfo Baby Casanova at 12. Then you have 11, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Yeah.
Then you have 10, Eric Morales, fun to watch. Sure. Ricardo Lopez, Miguel Canto. Then you have Vicente Saldivar.
Okay.
Then you have Alberto Baby Arizmendi. Okay. Juan Manuel Marquez. I was at the fight when he knocked out Pacquiao, and I was sitting next to his wife. Wow. His wife was gone. 4, they have Carlos Zarate.
Yeah.
And then they have Ruben Oliveras, and then they have, Hugo Chavez, and then Salvador Sanchez, right? When you look at some of these lists, right?
Yeah.
The greatest Mexican. Now, some of them say, well, he's not a Mexican born, so you're American. So on that list, it's really this. It should be Oscar.
Right.
But if you put in some of the lists that's greatest boxers of all time for that weight, you're ahead of what Chavez did. But some of the guys, old school guys, will get so annoyed if anybody says that.
Sure. No, I would say that, take me off that list, because there's been so many great champions that hail from Mexico who are Mexican nationals. I'm Mexican American. I was born in the U.S. I happen to have Mexican parents, and my blood is Mexican.
And you speak fluent Spanish.
I speak fluent Spanish,
right? Because Ryan gets the criticism, Garcia, but he doesn't speak Spanish, so he gets So he gets your criticism, but a little bit more. So how come you don't speak our language? Like when I was when I asked my guys, our company 54% Hispanic, a lot of guys from Michoacan, a lot of guys from Oaxaca or Sinaloa or Zacatecas, and they're so proud, that they're from all these different places. And my dad speaks fluent Spanish, and I'll say, so tell me about, Chavez, Oscar, and Ryan. And they'll say, well, listen, Mexican, Chavez, Mexican. He says, but Ryan, at least, he spoke our language. He was with us. Yeah, I mean, Oscar. And then they say, but Ryan doesn't speak Spanish. And for whatever reason, anybody I ask, they always give me a hard time about I think, Ryan, if you're watching this, go on Hooked on Phonics, learn how to speak Spanish. Stop this criticism they're giving you, bro. I mean, my wife is learning Spanish right now. I'm sure you can get a good tutor.
Well, it's funny because, so with me, I win the gold medal for the U.S., right? And if you notice, when I lifted the flags at the end, winning the gold medal round against Germany, Marco Rudolph, I lifted both flags, the Mexican and the American flag. So it's funny because, and I call him a friend, Salinas de Gortari, Mexico's president at the time, I believe in '92, yes. He calls me and invites me to the White House, which is called Los Pinos in Mexico. So you have the Mexican president calling me. You have, I believe it was Bush Sr., who was president at the time,
41,
calling me as well. So there's a famous little film back when I went to the White House, I believe it was, when the president invites you to the White House, and so Bush talks about me and how I did it for my mother. It was a very inspiring story, by the way. But I go on to the Jay Leno show back in the time, it was
he is
called
the guy.
the Tonight Show. He was the guy.
He was the guy.
It was my first time ever. And I told him, so I come out with my gold medal, with my red, white, and blue jumpsuit. And
You're 19?
I'm 19 years old. He introduces me as the golden boy from East LA. Everybody's going crazy. And he tells me, so Oscar, Jay Leno asked me, so Oscar, I hear you went to the White House. And so I tell him this story. Oh, yeah, I did go to the White House, and I was roaming around, with my gold medal, my red, white, and blue suit. And I found the restroom, so I sat down, and I was thinking to myself, wow, so this is where George Bush, has his best ideas on this throne here. And the people just went crazy. And that's where the Golden Boy was born, right there on the Jay Leno show.
Oh, wow. Okay. And did you think about saying that, or was it off the cuff?
It just came off.
Oh, okay.
It just,
because sometimes like, well, here's that's cool because that makes it.
It was just so innocent that people just loved
19 years old.
19 years old.
I'm sure they're gonna cut this clip and put it somewhere on TikTok with that clip being there with the flag. But so after winning and you're at this phase, we're still on this topic with Chavez and all these other guys. Do you consider yourself, like for me, my mom's Armenian, my dad's Assyrian. Yeah. I'm born in Iran, but I'm kind of made in America. Sure. And I'm an American, right? So people ask me, what do you think you are? I'm an American, right? Because what I see myself. For you, what do you think of yourself?
I'm American.
You're American?
Yeah, I was born in the U.S.
So you see yourself American, but proud of your Mexican heritage.
Yeah. It's very interesting because back then, it was rough. When you talk about races and nationalities, like for instance, I was the gringo. I was like, oh, you're not Mexican enough, and you're not one of us. You don't have Mexican blood. I was criticized left and right, but I stuck to my guns, and my message was always, I'm born in the USA. I love this country. It's my gosh. Especially back then, the U.S. was better off, right? But
you're saying Biden and Kamala haven't done a great job.
I'm not saying anything.
I'm a little offended by that.
I'm not saying anything.
Oscar.
Let's not go there. But it was rough, especially when I fought Julio Cesar Chavez, because now I'm fighting a real Mexican. So now I'm the outsider. I'm like the villain here, against all of Mexico. So it was some challenging times, but I stuck to my guns. I'm proud. I'm U.S. I was born, won the gold medal for the U.S., but my roots are Mexican, and I love my Mexican people, and all my family's Mexican.
You can't do anything about this. But
it's odd because now all those people that were against me, okay, back then when I fought Chavez, all those people that were against me, so now they have kids that were born in the U.S., now in my position, right? So now they understand and respect me for that,
It took a generation maybe for that to happen.
It took a generation for that to happen.
Let me ask this question. So is there, again, for me, I followed this purely from a fan standpoint. My friend Saul Lopez, who's now with us at David Consulting, he used to live in Sylmar. You know Sylmar. So he was in Sylmar, and they would always go and watch the matches. And we would, one time we're at their place, they're making carne asada, everybody's there. These guys are full-blown Mexicans. I'm talking Mexican superstitious. Mexicans are very superstitious. Like, no, you can't do that. When he did that last time, he lost the fight. I want you to do this. All these weird things, right? And it's always fun when you're around Mexicans who are superstitious because you can have a lot more fun with them. But we're watching is it Vargas against Tito? I think it's Vargas Tito. That was a good fight, right? They knock each other up. It was a good fight. They're proud to have somebody that's a Mexican born. So would you say still Canelo's love comes from people because he is born in Mexico? Is that kind of where the pride comes from?
Absolutely.
Where he is a Chavez type because he's born in Mexico, and you and Ryan are American, but your family came from Mexico.
Yeah, it's different. It's totally different. And, I happen to have a fan base that is global because of the Olympics, because of Barcelona, because of my mother's story, winning the gold for her, died of breast cancer. Impacted a lot of people all over the world. So I don't think people will ever forget that. Whether they like me or not, that's a whole different story. But yeah, the fact that you're born in Mexico, like Chavez, like Canelo, and the fact that Canelo took up English and now connects with the American public is it's a plus. It's great for his career. He's you can see it in his pay-per-view numbers, for instance. I remember because I promoted Canelo for many years. Throughout his whole career, I was with him for since the beginning, and I would tell Canelo, speak English. It's very important that you speak in it, even if you just say a few words and have a connection with the American public. And sure enough, I mean, it did wonders for his career.
In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear. It's wild you're saying this. You know how my boys came, my son came here and met you, my nephew, and we're talking soccer, right? And I say, hey, these guys are this, and Messi, Ronaldo, which one are you? And they're kind of giving their argument. It's like Messi doesn't do interviews in English.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And Ronaldo does. Yeah. So that allows him to have a wider range where maybe statistically for championship, World Cup, Messi has more, but because he doesn't do a lot of English speaking, many would say they don't really fully know Messi that well. They feel like they know Ronaldo a lot better. Right. So that's a good point with Canelo kind of speaking.
There's more of a connection.
Right.
You feel closer to that person who's speaking your language.
So it's an element of thank you for taking the time to learn our language. We respect you. We're willing to give you loyalty. Yeah. That's a good point. In these uncertain times, if there's anything we need people to believe the future looks bright. So if you've heard about me saying this mission to you, we're on a mission to get 1 million people to wear this gear. And this is what we're doing. If you buy one of these hats, there's a category of buying one hat, getting the second one free. If you haven't yet worn this gear publicly, go ahead and test it out. Buy some of the gear, wear it in public, and see how many people will stop by and say, you also watch Valuetainment? You also follow PBD Podcast? I do too. Place your order. Go to vtmerch.com, click on the link above or below, place your order, and represent the VT and the PBD Podcast gear.
So if you like this clip and you want to watch another one, click right here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click right here.